Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Happy Friday each and every one of you. I'm glad to be here with you. Right now Litecoin is at $76.99. We're up 6.71%, just ticked over at $70 to $77 right now. Guys, we're going to dig into this. We're going to be looking at this on the one-day chart. And also, if you like what we do here, you enjoy this, you want me to keep doing Litecoin videos, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate everyone being here with me, so we'll dig into this. Alright guys, so the last video, I put these two targets here, or alerts here. We had one at 76.36 that has been triggered, and then we had our downside at around that $70, or that 69.38 I think it was. I accidentally moved this one here. So it was around that $69 or so. And what happened was we've had two trend lines that we're looking at. Remember we talked about that fanning technique on trend lines. Let me zoom in. This is our main trend line that I'm paying attention to in yellow here. This is our intermediate term bullish uptrend, and it's an intermediate trend because we have been in it for 3 to 6 months now. That's kind of the range. 0 to 3 months is your short-term trend. 3 to 6 months is your intermediate-term trend. Then above that 6 months is going to be your long-term trend. And that's what we're trying to do with Litecoin. We're trying to turn this intermediate-term uptrend into a longer-term uptrend. And as long as we're up above this yellow line, we're there, guys. So that's a very good thing that we've been having higher highs and higher lows, and we're just moving up there. Okay, so what happened was, with this retracement here, we had this huge push up here, and then guys, we had a fall here, looked like a little bear flag there, and then we fell back down, and what we're experiencing, what we had put in yesterday, or about 2 or 3 days ago, I'm sorry, is a bullish engulfing candle, and it's this one right here. So if you don't know what a bullish engulfing candle is, this candle is engulfing the body of this candle right here. So that is your bullish engulfing candle. That is a actual very, very powerful candle. The only thing I didn't like about it, that I wasn't too happy about, was that it didn't come on larger volume. Typically, if we were to have a bullish engulfing candle here, we would want to stick a volume sum that looks like this first one here or something over here, and we did not necessarily get that, but we almost have one of those bullish mat hold lines taking place where we came up here, and then we had that quick little fall there, 2 days, and now we're blasting back up again. And what you're looking for now, guys, is for us to get back up above and in this trend line. Do you see this green trend line here? This was our second trend line, and I took it from back in here. You can see this area here, and each time we've been treating it as support, and what happened was we actually broke down through it. Now what you're seeing is a pullback into this line, and that happens a lot of times. If you break trend lines, and depends on what you're looking at, guys, in terms of the patterns or whatnot, but a lot of the times, about 50 to 60% of the time, you will have a pullback to this area. And what happens is, a lot of times, say we don't close back up above this tonight, this could be an area to where you start to fall back down again, and you can actually set a lower low. So I want you to be aware of that. That's more to the downside. So you say we have huge rejection here, guys. We got pushed all the way up to 89, and we end up closing back down in here around 74, 73. That may be an indication that we could be heading back down to the downside. Now, if we close up in this green trend line, that could be a positive that we will continue to move to the upside, and my next overhead resistance would be at that $83.96. After that, it would be at that $92.54. And guys, if you want to go back and see kind of some of my targets, go look at that last video I did, the quick Litecoin video. I laid this out for you in terms of all those targets, like how we had it at the 76 and we had it up here, different things like that. So that's what I'm looking at. But we are into this resistance now, guys. If we do close up above this green line, do you see this longer wick here? That's kind of where we stopped right there. That's where the price stopped, around that $80 or so. So I want you to keep that on your radar. And another positive thing, though, that is a good sign, is that we are back up above this 30 EMA. Do you see how long we've been up above this 30 EMA in orange here? And then it started to hook, and it was acting as overhead resistance. But with this beautiful candle that we just got put in here, if we close, we would actually close back up above it, which is a good thing. In terms of a bull market or a intermediate term uptrend, you want to stay above that 30 EMA. I can't emphasize that enough. In a bull market, you want to stay up above it. In a bear market, it's most likely going to act as resistance. So closing up above that today at 73.77 is going to be an important sign for us. If we see rejection, we start falling back below that, that could be a bad sign, my friends, okay? And remember, with Litecoin here, I'm showing you the upside, the downside, and the sideways targets. You make up your own mind in terms of what you want to do. I'm just showing you each side of the scenario and what I'm planning for, what I'm looking at here, okay? Next one, guys, this 50 moving average, we are up above that as well, which is a good thing. So we want to see a close above that. We had our golden cross right here that took place, that 100 over top of that 200-day moving average, and we have been up above that 200-day moving average for quite a few days now, guys. We got up above it finally We broke out above it about February 18th, 2019. We've been staying up above it, and that's your long-term investor moving average that you want to pay close attention to. When we're up above that, a lot of times that will signify that we're getting it into, or we're in that bull market. If we're below that, that could show that we're in that bear market. So right now, it's just kind of that crucial time to see what's going to happen. Remember, with Litecoin, you're always going to play off Bitcoin as well. You know, if Bitcoin's going to go up, most likely Litecoin's going to go up or go down, vice versa. You know, it can play both ways. If all of a sudden Bitcoin right now, some whale steps in, decides to dump a bunch of coins, Litecoin may not continue the move that it was destined for or was going to have if it wasn't for Bitcoin. So we do have to play that into a factor. We have to watch Bitcoin, and we have to pay attention to what's going on with that. Okay, next thing I wanted to bring to you was some indicators. We're going to start looking at these and see how they're looking. And what we're going to dive into first is the relative strength index. See what's happening. So on the RSI, as we've had this downward move here, and remember, I like to do trend lines, especially on the RSI, and I look for those trend line breaks, and I do believe we got one here. So this is where my trend line was that I was paying attention to, and you see this breakout from it. Guys, I cannot overemphasize, and that's why I'm doing these tutorials on trend lines. I read so much about them, and when you break out of them or you break down from them, there's so much percentage to be made and gained from them. So really study these trend lines, guys. There's PDFs out there about trend lines. Some people, all they specifically play are trend lines. They're that powerful, and I want to bring them to you. That's why. And you can see it right here, guys. So say even you bought it when we broke out of this, that would be right around this time when we had that bullish engulfing candle, and you could have went from, say you bought in here, guys, 68 all the way up to 80, and say you let them go there. That's a nice little gain that we're seeing there. So, you know, really keep that on your radar. But right now we're at a healthy spot on the RSI. We're at 54, so there is much more room to run to the upside if we do want to run to the upside. Now, in terms of the RSI, the resistance would be around 58, and then it would be around 60 is going to be our overhead resistance on the RSI. And remember, I play the RSI like a line graph. As opposed to using candles up here, you can change it right in here to a line graph. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how I play the RSI. That's what I look for. I look for those trend line breaks, and they're extremely powerful, my friends. So really dig into those. So right now, guys, we're looking good on the RSI. We're moving up. We're pointed north. We're at 54. There's plenty of room to run. So if we do want to run up and try to test that 83.96, there's definitely potential to do that if we can get back up above this green trend line. That's going to be the key. Next thing I wanted to look at with you was the MACD and see what's happening here. Guys, these are the indicators that I like to use and most traders look at. You want to look at the indicators that basically everyone else is going to be looking at, because that's what they're going to be going off of. And remember, the traders and the market makers, whatnot, they're going to be the ones who's setting the mood or the tempo in this market, are those market makers. All right. So let's see here. On the MACD now, you see on the day it's looking very bullish here in terms of it looks like we could potentially have that cross, and the histogram's starting to tick to the positive right here. So we're going to have to look for that MACD cross. Remember, when you have a MACD cross to the upside, we're not there yet. So remember, you could bounce off this signal line and go back down, but it's looking like we want to hook back through. And what you typically want to do, you want to buy on the MACD. Excuse me there, guys. Just want to pull this up for you a little bit. You want to buy on the MACD when we have that cross and it is confirmed. That would mean a move to the upside. And now you want to let your coins go when you have this cross to the downside. You see right here? So this is when you would have let them go from that pump, and that would have been around about that $78 or so, and then we started to move down. We're trying to make our way back up there through these overhead resistances that we're dealing with. But in terms of the MACD, we're looking decent, guys. The histogram's starting to tick to the positive. The MACD's wanting to go positive, but we do not have that confirmation yet. I cannot overemphasize the fact that you need to wait for confirmation. Wait for confirmation. Next thing, stock RSI. So far, both of those are looking pretty good. Let's see, Stochastic RSI, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful time. Enjoy tonight. Go out, have some fun, but be safe. It is my niece's 21st birthday, so we're meeting up with a bunch of family or whatnot at Red Lobster. Hopefully going to get a nice steak or something, so should be a good time tonight, guys. I'm looking forward to it, so that's why I'm trying to get these videos out to you a little bit quicker. I would love to do one at the close, but I just don't think it's going to happen tonight. So we've been down here. We've been pinned out for a while. We had that bullish cross, and now we're up above it. We're going to have to see. We're at 61 and 49, so we're in that like neutral territory here with the stock RSI. There's definitely more room to run to the upside. We have been as high recently as we got to that 100 over in this area, my friends. So, and then once we had that downward cross, I think if you would have sold out up here, would have been a thing of beauty. So I really like to play the stock RSI as well. I think it's an important one to do. Okay? So now I want to show you something else that has been on my radar. And I'm really going to clear off the screen here. And what we're going to talk about is a potential, and I'm saying potential because it is not confirmed yet, a potential cup and handle forming overall for Litecoin. Now, you know, what I like to do is go out of the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. I've talked about it quite a few times by Thomas Bulkowski. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, in my playlist, there's a whole tutorial on the cup and handle formation, and it's directly out of the book, the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. We go through all the identification of it, everything like that. So I want you guys to go in there, watch that video or research about the cup and handle yourself and see what you think if we are forming that. I'm not saying for sure this is it, but it could be a great potential. And what you're looking for in these cup and handles, do you see how this supply and demand shifts? And what they talk about is you want the candles to be very, very small down in here, exactly like we have. Okay, and a lot of these will take 3 to 6 months to form. It's a very long, it's almost like that rounded bottom. It takes a lot of time to happen, but you can see that supply and demand shift. When we hit these tweezer tops up here, we broke down through the 200-day moving average, and ever since then, we've just been falling lower highs and lower lows, and now you're seeing that supply and demand shift. And what you have with the cup and handle, you'll have this big cup here, then you'll have a handle, which typically about 20 to 35 days or so, you'll have this pullback, and then you'll start to have that upward break. And what they say for this cup and handle is you actually want to wait for some confirmation. That's why I said we're not there yet. But the confirmation would be breaking out over top of this right here. So if we make a very strong move, we break out of the top of this, and then we can have a good percentage terms to run, guys. If this really truly is a cup and handle and we break out of this, our target would be up here around that $185. That's where my target would be, given all the percentage, everything that we've seen, and especially these tweezer tops and getting back up above this 200-day moving average where we drop back down. Yes, we're up above it here, but just to get back up above all this slop right here would be amazing, guys. It'd be very important for us. Now, with the volume, though, on a cup and handle, as you're going like this, you almost want that rounded volume. You want volume to get really low down in this area, which it's low. I mean, this isn't anything super impressive down here with the volume. It is pretty low, so that would definitely count, but you're looking for that nice drop, guys, and then a move to the upside there. And like I said, my target would be right here around, let's say, that $185. And what I can do is actually pull a target for you here. So let's go up, we'll go up to the tweezers there, and we're going to see what type of percentage gain. So say you were to buy it now, you're convinced, you're 100% sure it's going to be a cup and handle. Say you were to buy now and it did go to that area, that could be about 133% gain. So there really is a lot of gains to be made if this pattern does play out. Okay, but you want to wait for confirmation is the biggest deal. And another thing I noticed, which is interesting, so guys, this whole time in this bear market, take a look at the void in this volume here. And what I noticed is now, though, I was going through this yesterday on the chart at night. Do you see these stick of volume starting to increase? Do you see this little stick here that looks a little bit different? And then this one here. Take a look back here how they grew, guys. So you started with this one here, then this one, then that one, then that one, and that one. So basically you had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll call it 4 to 5 there. And that's almost like your wave pattern as well if you study Elliott wave or whatnot. But you see the increasing volume, and I'll throw a trend line on it so you can see here. So we'll even go, let's go from about this area here. Do you see that volume starting to increase right there? So that's a telltale sign that you're in that bull market. You have that increasing swelling volume. And now look what we're seeing here, guys. We potentially, so from this one here to this one, we'll have to wait and see where the next stick comes. But this definitely could be another opportunity to where this is showing us that we're potentially out of that bear market. Guys, I don't want to say it yet. I'm so mixed back and forth because with Bitcoin, we're either going to have one of the most massive bull traps in Bitcoin history around that $6,000 to $7,000 range, or the bottom is fully in and we're just going to continue to make those higher highs and higher lows. But until we fully break up above that $6,000 to $7,000 range, consolidate upon that range, treat it as support, you can't really say, yes, there's indicators back and forth for the bullish case and the bearish case, but you can't fully say that we are in a bull market yet. We can't say that for sure yet due to Bitcoin, okay? I want you to be aware of that. So it is that toss-up, but if you wanted to take a chance now and say, hey, you know, we're basically as close to the bottom as I believe we're going to go, and you want to accumulate for the long term, that's a different story. But you step back and you really start to look at this chart, and you can see how low we were here. Do you see this, guys? We were all the way up at $450. We went down to $22. And remember, as hard as we fell here, we can run that hard on the backside. And remember, if anything goes up straight like this, that's the time to sell, guys. Anything that goes up straight without building support and resistance and it's built on stilts, it is going to come crashing back down, and I have learned that lesson throughout this whole bear market. That's why I've studied so hard about all this stuff, so it will never happen again. I can take advantage of the bear market, know that cash is king, and just trade it, as opposed to going, oh, well, when's this going to change or when's that going to change? You have to study market psychology. You have to study market cycles, and that's what I like to do, guys. But you can see that supply and demand shift. You see that shift, that change right there. That's one of the biggest things that you can look for, is that supply and demand shift, and that the fact that we are up above that 200-day moving average again is a really big deal. The 200-day moving average is down around that 47.62. So will we ever back test that again? We may. That's definitely in the cards. If something happens crazy with Bitcoin, shoot, guys, we could go down to that area in a heartbeat. But we also could run up to that $100 from where we're at right now really fast. And that's the thing with this market. It moves so quick, and that's why I turn on indicators, like I said. And if you've never set indicators before in terms of these alarms, I want to show them to you so you know how to do this. All right, so let's click on that. I'm going to delete it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set a new one. All right, so guys, we'll go up to these wicks right here. So at 80.13, I want to be notified if we're going up above that. I'm going to right-click on my mouse, add alert. Right there, everything's looking good. You can have them send you an email or a text, anything like that. I have both. I'll hit create, and then it should pop up right there. And what that does, it just allows you to be away from your computer so that you're not always tied to it, my friends. You know, and then you can get an alert, and then you can run back to your computer and say, okay, I want to play this, or I want to get out of this, or whatnot. But you know, there are significant things. This was a big fall here, or a nice healthy correction, and we got that bullish engulfing candle there, and you can see it's a very sharp V recovery. But sometimes, guys, you could come up here, that's the reaction, and then we fall back down, or we could break through that, and then we have to get up through around that $83 or $84. And that's the name of the game. That's trading. That's why I said I will never, ever, ever rub the crystal ball for you and say, oh, this person said this or this person said that or whatever. No one knows what's going to happen. You can set yourself up for the upside and the downside, but no one can say for sure. I can't tell you for sure Litecoin's going to $100 a day, or I can't tell you for sure it's going to go down and test that 200-day moving average. I'm not a market maker. You're not a market maker. That's the market maker's job. We have to ride their coattails. That's our job. Identify when these moves happen as quick as possible. Jump all over them. Identify it, and let's roll. Let's do it. So also here, guys, do you see we had this fall? So from our swing low to our swing high, we came down in this area. We almost back tested this 0.5, which that was my target right here, this 0.5. I had a decent amount of bids right in this area. We did not hit that. We came back up through the 0.382, and we wicked up to that 0.236 at 81.64, and we're seeing some rejection now. So guys, just pay very close attention to this. I wanted to bring this update to you. I apologize if it was a little bit longer, but these were the things that I wanted to point out to you so that you can be aware and also identify and really keep an eye on that volume, guys. As volume increases, that could be a sign, as it starts to swell as moves happen, that could be a sign that we are entering that bull market. So we're so mixed, so back and forth. There's a lot of signals saying both ways, so I'm not going to tell you for sure the bottom's in, but it definitely could be, my friends. So the position that I'm in right now and what I like to be in is I'm basically 50-50 right now. I'm 50% in cryptos. I'm 50% in cash in case we have a bigger dip, this or that. And I feel good about the position I'm in, and I think it's a good spot to be, because if you're 100% crypto, I think that's a dangerous thing to be. If you're 100% cash, you can miss out on some serious moves that are taking place. So I think it's healthy to have a kind of a mixture of both, so that if it goes up, I'm happy. If it goes down, I'm happy. I can buy more, and it's a good combination to be in. So that's where I'm at right now, guys. I'm being patient. I'm watching, waiting to see what happens. So God bless each and every one of you. If you like what we do here, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share. I appreciate you. God bless.